What's up guys, welcome to Sick Eric TV, and today we're going to be doing a comparison video between the Samsung Galaxy S8 Plus and the Samsung Galaxy S7 Edge. So we're just going to be going over the specs, size comparison, speaker quality, and pictures real quick, so be sure to stay tuned. Alright, in today's video we're going to be going over the specs, size comparison, changes in settings, and speaker test on the Samsung Galaxy S8 Plus and the S7 Edge. So let's jump down right into it. And first we're going to start off with the display. The Galaxy S7 Edge comes with the 5.5-inch Super AMOLED Edge display with a resolution of 1440 by 2560 at 534 pixels per inch, while the Galaxy S8 Plus is a 6.2-inch Super AMOLED Infinity display with edges, and it's also got features like HDR and QHD Plus, and it's got a resolution of 1440 by 2960, and it's got a little less pixels per inch, coming in at 529. That's because of the larger screen. The S7 Edge is covered in Corning Gorilla Glass 4, while the S8 is covered in Gorilla Glass 5 to protect more against drops and breaks. The screen-to-body ratio on the S7 Edge is 76.1%, while on the S8 is 84%. And the aspect ratios is where these phones also differ. The aspect ratio on the S7 is 16:9 and 18.5:9 on the S8. So that's the screen details right there. And next thing we're going to go is design and the body. On the back of these phones, the S7 Edge is covered in Gorilla Glass 4, just like the front, while on the S8 it's got Gorilla Glass 5. There has been a change in the home button. There is no more physical home button. On the S7 Edge, you have a physical home button and two capacitive buttons on each side, while on the S8 they removed the home button and put virtual on-screen buttons with a haptic feedback home button to resemble a physical home button. They're both IP68 dust and water resistance up to 1.5 meters for 30 minutes. On the back, Samsung decided to move the fingerprint sensor right next to the camera on the S8, while on the S7 Edge you just have the camera sensor and your flash, while over here you also have the heart rate sensor and the flash on side of the camera. As far as that goes, we're going to go over the size. The S7 Edge is 5.94 inches tall by 2.86 inches wide and 0.30 thick. It's got a weight of 150 grams, which is 5.54 ounces. Going over to the S8 Plus, it is 6.28 inches tall by 2.89 inches wide and 0.32 inches thick. It weighs 173 grams, which is about 6.10 ounces. And we're just gonna go over a little bit of a size difference. As you can tell, it is definitely taller than the S7 Edge. As far as width-wise, they're about the same width. Pretty much the same width. On the side, you have the volume rocker, which is two separate buttons, while on the S8 it is one button, and then you have your Bixby button. On the bottom here is where they are also different. On the S7 Edge, you have the headphone jack, you got micro USB connection, you got a microphone and your mono speaker, while on the S8 you have your headphone jack, USB Type-C, microphone, and your speaker. over on the right hand side, you have your power button. Up top, you have your SIM and SD card trays, followed by your mics. And that is a quick walkthrough on size comparison to give you guys an idea. And as far as the edge display goes, the edges on the S8 are more symmetrical, which means the glass on the front and the back are the same, which gives it a much better feel in the hand. While the S7 Edge are not symmetrical, the edge curve on the front is more prominent than the edge on the back, which means it has more of a sharp feeling to it, but it's still comfortable in the hand. So next thing we're going to go over is the platform. The S7 Edge recently got updated to Android 7.0 Nougat, and the S8 comes with Nougat out of the box. The S7 Edge has the Snapdragon 820 quad-core processor with 4 GB of RAM, while the S8 has the Snapdragon 835. It's an octa-core processor with also 4 GB of RAM. The GPU on the S7 Edge is the Adreno 530, while on the S8 it's the 540, and that helps with as far as graphics and gamings and stuff like that. The storage got bumped up, going from 32 gigabytes of storage to 64 gigabytes on the S8 Plus, and that's a big plus for me right there, because I don't feel that 32 gigs is enough anymore. That was a 2016 thing. Now it's moving up towards 64 and above going forward. They both have SD card expansion up to 250 gigabytes. So that is another good thing, that you could also include your SD card. Next thing we're going to do is talk about the camera specs. On the S7 Edge, you have a 12 megapixel rear-facing camera with f1.7 aperture. You have your dual-tone flash, and it's got phase detection, autofocus, and optical image stabilization. While on the front, you have a 5 megapixel front-facing camera with the f1.7 aperture, and is a fixed focus camera. While on the S7 Edge, the S8 Plus, they bumped it up as far as the front one goes, but the rear one has a similar sensor as the S7 Edge. It comes in with a 12 megapixel camera with a f1.7 aperture. It's got phase detection, autofocus, and optical image stabilization. But it also has improved image processing and software to process your images a lot better. So it may be a similar sensor to the S7 Edge, but it's going to take a lot better pictures due to the processing and software. On the front is already bumped it up a bit. It now has a 8 megapixel front-facing camera with the aperture f1.7, and it's got autofocus, which is a really, really nice thing. It's not fixed like the S7 Edge is. Next thing we're going to go over is security on these phones. Now, they both have fingerprint sensors. The S7 Edge has security as far as fingerprint sensor. It's got a face detection, but it's nowhere near as accurate or secure as the S8. And you also have the option to put a pin or a pattern on there. But as far as security goes, those are the only security features that come on the S7 Edge. On the S8, they bumped it up quite a bit to where you have your fingerprint sensor. On the top, you have your iris scanner, and you have a more accurate, more secure facial recognition, and you also have your pin and pattern. So they bump it up as far as security, which means this phone is going to be a bit more secure, and you have more options of unlocking your phone. you could unlock it with the fingerprint sensor, or you could unlock it with your iris scanner, and you also have facial recognition, which is nice, or you could unlock it with your pin. I don't have that set right now. Well, actually, I do. Or you could unlock it with your pin, but it's gonna offer a lot more as far as security goes. Next thing on the list is we're gonna talk about audio. They both come with 3.5 millimeter headphone jacks, which is really good. A lot of phones are taking that out nowadays. The Galaxy S7 Edge comes with 24-bit audio and a single firing mono speaker, and it's got mediocre audio quality coming from the speaker and the audio jack. On the S8 and the S8 Plus, they stepped it up a bit. It also has a 3.5 millimeter headphone jack with 32-bit audio and a single firing speaker, but they stepped it up quite a bit as far as the audio goes on these. The speaker is a lot better, in my opinion, than it was on the S7 Edge. It was a lot more muffled on the S7 Edge than it is on the S8, and the audio coming from the headphone jacks is very better. It's a lot better than it was on the S7, and on the Note 7 you have more clarity, it's louder, and it's just a lot better quality, so it'll please all you audiophiles out there if you like to listen to music and stuff like that. The S8 will not let you down. It's I want to sort of compare it to like maybe the LG V10, nowhere near the LG V20, but probably around the LG V10 or the HTC 10 is my closest comparison that I could think of. But we're gonna go ahead and play some music samples to sort of test out the speaker as far as how it sounds. Hopefully my phone could pick it up. So right now we're gonna go ahead and do the S7 Edge. That's the S7 Edge, and we're gonna do the S8. Now you can tell the sound coming from the S8 is a lot more crisp and detailed. It's not as muffled and drained out as it is on the S7 Edge. And I know on the S7 Edge they had issues with that because of the waterproofing. And maybe I think there's like a film or a mesh going over the speaker to protect against water. But as you could tell, the sound is a lot clearer and louder on the S8. So that's a definite improvement in my book as far as audio goes. And like I said, the headphone jack will not disappoint. As far as camera wise, we're going to go ahead and take a couple of practice shots to show you some images as far as how they take photos separate from each other. So we're just going to go ahead and take some photos of Iron Man here. And this is the S8 Plus photo. Set that aside, and we're going to go ahead and take the same picture with the S7 Edge and sort of see if we can compare those. And keep in mind that these are all on auto mode, so there is no switching or anything on that. As you can tell, the camera shutter speed is a lot quicker on the S8 than it is on the S7. So let's see if we could get some camera comparisons here. Let's see if I can focus. Sorry, trying to focus here. So as you can see, the camera quality is a lot more clearer than it is on the S7 Edge. The S8 is a lot more darker and crisper and more detailed than the S7 Edge as far as the shininess and the reflection of his helmet. So the camera quality has stepped it up due to its image processing. So that's a good thing as far as improvements. So we're going to go ahead and go over the speediness of taking a shot. So you can take a couple of shots, one right after the other, on the S7 Edge. It's still fast right there. So, and then we're going to go over, let's check out some front-facing camera examples. So let's go ahead and go to gallery, and let's go ahead and go to, these are a couple of front-facing examples that I took earlier. You get more of a darker detail, and notice the sky didn't get washed out on the S7 Edge. It sort of gets a little bit washed out by the sun and the exposure, while on the S8 it keeps the detail of the tree intact and does not get washed out. So that's the front-facing camera. Also has improvements. So that is pretty much it on little camera examples. Next thing we're going to talk about is the battery and the battery life. I don't have exact details as far as how many hours you could go, but I know the battery on the S7 Edge, at least on my version, it has decreased a little bit. I know Samsung talks about the battery in about 2 years it's going to be at, like, right now it's 100%, but in like 2 years it's going to go down to like 95 or 98%. But the S7 Edge, the battery life has decreased quite a bit. The S7 Edge has a 3600 milliamp battery, while the S8 has a 3500 milliamp battery. But due to its more efficient processor, the Snapdragon 835 is going to give you about the same, if not more, battery life on the S8 than as the S7 Edge will. So you're not going to be losing anything as far as that goes in battery life. So that's another good thing. This one has a smaller battery, but it's still going to perform just as well as this phone did when it first came out. Like I said, my S7 Edge has a lower bit of, doesn't last as long anymore. I believe it dies at like 20%. That's just because of the battery. This is bad. But last thing is the Bluetooth 5.0 that comes on the Samsung Galaxy S8, and pretty much what that means, it's got an improved range of up to 800 feet with compatible devices. It's got higher fidelity audio, faster pairing, and faster data transfer, and you could have the ability to connect two different devices like speakers at the same time. While the Samsung Galaxy S7 has Bluetooth 4.0, it still has fast data transfer speeds, good audio, and it's got a range of about 200 feet on that one. So they stepped it up quite a bit as far as the Bluetooth goes, and the audio that you're going to get from that, and the range, and the connection as far as how strong it is and stuff. So next thing we're going to do is we're going to go over changes in the settings, which is they're pretty much identical. Like I said, thanks to the latest update from Samsung, the Galaxy S7 Edge is now more up to date with the well, it was with the Note 7, and now it's more up to date with the Galaxy S8. So as you can see in the settings, they look exactly the same as far as that goes. So that's another good thing as far as that goes. The dialer looks the same. So there's really not that much changes in the UI as far as the settings go and the all of that. But as far as the home settings go, on the S7 Edge, you have an option of the app drawer, and this is TouchWiz. You either have the option of the touch drawer, the app drawer, or to put all your screens on the pages, sort of like Apple. As far as the S8 goes, on their version of TouchWiz, you have 3 different options. Right now I'm running Nova Launcher, but you have the swipe up option, which resembles the Pixel. You have the option of putting all your apps on the home screen just like Apple, and you also have the app drawer option as well. And you're gonna have a secure folder on both of these, I believe. On the S8 you have a secure folder. I'm not sure if you have one on the S7 Edge, and it does not look like you do on the S7 Edge, but you're going to have the option of secure folder on the S8, which allows you to put certain apps that you want to keep hidden and secure, and they sort of separate themselves from the actual normal app. So that's another cool feature, and that was brought on over by the Note 7. So that's pretty much it, guys. This was my quick comparison between the Samsung Galaxy S8 Plus and the Samsung Galaxy S7 Edge, and just wanted to go over some changes and design changes as far as the two phones go. Thanks for watching. Be sure to stay tuned with my side-by-side comparison between the S7 Edge and the regular Galaxy S8, and I'll be releasing that video sometime soon, so keep track of that. And thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, give me a thumbs up, and I appreciate everything. Thank you guys, and I'll see you in the next one.